What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's undisputed world title fight at 122 pounds in Tokyo, Japan between the undisputed champion Naoya Inoue and the challenger Junto Nakatani. Before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to like this video? Could you also subscribe? Down at the bottom of your screen, pinned in the comment section, is a link to join our world famous Johnny Says boxing betting Discord. It's a couple bucks a month. Click the link to learn more. We are a growing community. Shout out to all the JSB insiders as we approach our 500th VIP. All right, guys, this is one that has been marked on the Fight Fans calendar for a long time. It went from conversation to hypothetical to now it is going down. We last saw both men, Inoue and Nakatani, on the same card at the end of December in 2025. Both got through their tough fights, and here we are. It's interesting to talk a little bit about, though, how fickle the boxing fan base can be. Is it safe to say that some of the luster from the casual fan base was removed due to Nakatani's last performance? Probably so. For all the true blue boxing fans, the ones who are in the know, the excitement is still at a fever pitch. This one has been on our radar for a long time. So in this video, what we're gonna do is break down both fighters' careers. I'm gonna talk a little bit about how they go about their business, and stay tuned. Like always, at the very end, we're gonna go over those current Las Vegas odds, and I'll be giving you my prediction, telling you where to put your money. Junto Nakatani is an undefeated, tall, rangy southpaw who likes to fight at range and in the pocket. If you ask me, I feel he does his best work at distance. We last saw him in a really tough fight against a guy who was equally as tall as him in Sebastian Logan Hernandez. He won a decision, interesting enough, on those scorecards. Two of the judges had it 115 to 113. I know going into that fight, a lot of people were playing the knockout prop. So sometimes when the odds are a certain way and the fight ends a certain way, people say it was a tough fight. It was a bad fight. It was a bad performance. We have to remember that was Junto's first fight going up to 122. This is a guy who was cutting his teeth over the last few years at 118. We watched him come up from 115, and we see it time and time again when fighters enter a new weight class, it sometimes takes them a few fights to get comfortable. Think about when David Benavidez went from super middleweight to light heavyweight. He had that fight with Vosdick, and it took him a few fights to get his feet until he finally stopped Anthony Yarde. With Junto Nakatani, this is a guy who does a lot of things really well. He wants to set you up. He wants to walk you onto shots. He has that atypical Japanese spirit. We know he's been trained in the United States, so he brings this sort of fusion Mexican style to his game. He is there to get hit, but he wants to hit you equally as much. An interesting thing to pay attention, though, guys, going into this fight and as this fight heats up, is the swelling on the eye of Nakatani. We saw it blow up against Hernandez, and that fight was only a few months back. It's just something to think about. We know in his opponent, the undefeated pound-for-pound generational great, Naoya Inoue, he loves a firefight. We've seen this guy multiple times pick himself up off of the canvas in firefights, get knocked down, get back up, and win by knockout. The two fights I'm talking, Luis Neri and Ramon Cardenas. We know he's undefeated. This guy's knockout to win ratio speaks for itself. A stat that I like throwing around that sometimes gets sort of overlooked is the fact that when you look at Naoya Inoue's entire career, when you watch the weight classes that he came up from and everything that makes him the great at 122, this guy's been fighting for world titles since his 6th pro fight. So he was made for this. He was bred for this. And come Saturday night, the 60,000 plus fans in the Tokyo Superdome will be going absolutely insane for both of their countrymen. This is why we're extremely excited about it. When you think about how these guys are going to mesh, we know Nakatani's about 5'8". We know Inoue's about 5'5". It's going to probably be a feeling out process for a little bit, but as soon as each guy feels that they find their range, expect an absolute fire fight. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at the man coming up from 118. This will be his second fight at 122, Junto Nakatani, and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Junto Nakatani is 32-0 with 24 knockouts. Out of 1,490 fighters ranked in the world at super bantamweight, he's ranked number 2. He's fought a career total of 164 pro rounds and carries in the ring a 75% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as Big Bang and the 28-year-old Japanese fighter is a 5'8" southpaw with a 68-inch reach. He was born in Inebegun, Mie, Japan, but called Sagamihara, Kanagawa, Japan, home. We last saw him fight Sebastian Hernandez, 20-0, won a UD in the 12th. Nishida, 10-0, stopped him in the 6th. Contreras, 28-0, stopped him in the 3rd. Salapat, 76-1, stopped him in the 6th. Astrolabio, 19-4, stopped him in the 1st. With a guy like Junto Nakatani, big bang, a lot of hype comes about him. You don't see a lot of 5'8" southpaws who are knockout artists coming up from the lighter divisions. And sometimes when you have a knockout to win ratio that's so high, you can have a performance that might not be as bad as people think it is, but because Junto didn't win by knockout, people are all of a sudden questioning him and questioning his ability. Like I said, that last fight against Sebastian, it was one of the few fights in which he wasn't having and controlling a massive height advantage. He didn't have a massive reach advantage, and it was also the biggest guy he had ever fought. First fight at 122, and a guy who's equally as tall as him. It took him a while to figure things out. He was getting hit a lot, but he was dishing out equally as much as he was getting. And at the end of the day, he did win a decision. He took some damage. The swelling on the eye was evident. What he does at best is control range. When he's using his jab and he's walking his opponents onto his backhand, I like his uppercut at range. He likes to fight in the pocket, and he's good all around. His durability is there. He's undefeated for a reason, and he has a high knockout to win ratio. He's going to be paired up against the best fighter he has ever faced. The arsenal that Naoya Inoue brings into the ring not only is speed and power, but sort of an unmatched spirit of willingness and a wantingness to engage in a war. Both guys are coming off decision victories. We haven't seen Inoue get a stoppage in a few fights, so that's something to think about as well for all you prop bettors. We will get to those props and the money line odds shortly, but before we do that, let's take a look at the monster Naoya Inoue and see what he's been up to in his career. Inoue is 32-0 with 27 knockouts. Out of 1,490 fighters ranked in the world at 122, he's ranked number 1. His adoring fans know him as the monster, and he is the undisputed world super bantamweight champion. He carries in the ring an 84% career knockout to win ratio, and he's fought a career total of 205 rounds. His adoring fans know him as the monster, and the 33-year-old Japanese fighter is a 5'5" orthodox fighter with a 67-inch reach. He was born in Zama, Kanagawa, Japan, but calls Yokohama, Kanagawa, Japan, home. We last saw him fight David Picasso, 32-0, UD in the 12th. MJ, 14-1, UD in the 12th. Ramon Cardenas, 26-1, stopped him in the 8th. Ijun Kim, 21-2, stopped him in the 4th. TJ Devinhaney, 26-4, stopped him in the 7th. When you look at Inoue's record, in 2 fights before that, he knocked out Luis Nery, a fight in which he had to pick himself off the canvas, and then he won by exciting knockout, and then Marlon Tapales. The resume speaks for itself. How long he's been at the top of the mountain speaks for itself. At 33 years old, the knock on Inoue is like, will he get old overnight? Will this be the fight in which we start seeing the degradation of the style, the speed slow a little bit? We've already seen him win back-to-back fights by decision, not by knockout, the MJ fight and the Alan Picasso fight. So people are already kind of whispering, is that power gone? He's not the same guy at 122 as he was at 118. The guy is undefeated. The guy is one of the most feared punchers in the lower weight classes, and he is a living legend. This is an iconic fighter of all time, in my opinion, of the lighter weight classes, and he's going to get another awesome opportunity come Saturday night in Japan to remind people why they call him the monster. Guys, before I get into the current odds, remember in these Stats Don't Lie videos, you're only going to get my money line prediction. Make sure you turn on the notification button for my channel so you never miss one of my world famous daily betting boxing live streams. We have a ton of action this week. We have the fight card in 24 hours in Australia, headlined by Sky Nicholson and Mariah Turner. I'll be giving you all of my picks on that. There's a Pro Box card, there's a UK card, and there's fights everywhere internationally. Catch the live streams to get all my bets, and more importantly, to get my tickets, my props, my parlays, and become part of our community. Click the link that's pinned in the comment section below. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, let's pull out our betting apps. Currently on the money line, Naoya Inoue is a $1.27 favorite, meaning you put 100 on Inoue, you get your money back plus 27 bucks. Junto Nakatani is a $4.20 dog, meaning you put 100 on Junto, you get your money back plus $320. Guys, I recently did a poll on my Instagram. Another thing is, if you're not following me on the IG, do that. Follow Johnny Stavko. You can take part in all these polls. Over 2,000 people voted, and 88% of the fan poll on Instagram is picking Inoue, to only 12% picking Junto Nakatani. Seeing Junto as more than a 3-to-1 dog is pretty insane, considering how dominant he has been throughout his career. He's been one of my favorite fighters over the last 5 or so years to watch him evolve, to watch him come up from weight classes. His style is fun, tall, rangy southpaw who could crack. He's always in an exciting fight. In his opponent, Naoya Inoue, he's just happening to be going against an icon, a guy that I think 20 years from now, boxing fans will remember and still talk about. I think the odds may be a little bit disrespectful, but I am going with the favorite. I think Naoya Inoue is going to continue on his career-defining iconic legacy and remain undefeated. I can't wait to hear that crowd in Tokyo. And you know, both guys being Japanese, this is a superstar, once-in-a-lifetime fight with two kings of Japanese boxing. I think that samurai spirit will be on full display. I'm going on the money line currently, but stay tuned to my live streams and join the Discord to get my props so you can find out if I'm picking points or knockout. Also, guys, stay tuned to the channel. Like I said earlier, we have fights all around the board. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.